Today I'm going to tell you a story about a pincushion that broke my heart and then healed it. If messages of hope and resilience encourage you, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you will always have a place to come back to. So when I was 8 years old, it was the year after my dad died, and our school gave us a project for Mother's Day. We were going to make a pincushion to give to our moms. You know, I worked so hard on mine. I'm not the craftiest person in the world. And it was lopsided and it was a little messy, but I thought it was amazing. And I couldn't wait to take it home and to give it to my mother. You know, she had been really sad. So that evening, I gave her the pincushion. And she thanked me very quickly, and she told me to finish my homework before dinner, and life went on. But in my heart, I really imagined which shelf she'd place it on, and maybe it would be somewhere really special. So the next day after school, I looked everywhere in the house to see where she had put that pincushion, but I couldn't find it. And later that evening, as I was heading out the door to my grandmother's house, I saw it. My little pincushion. It was sitting in the trash can by the door, ready to be taken out. And you know, my heart sank. So I grabbed my little pincushion and I ran sobbing to my grandmother's house, and I told her what had happened. And she wrapped me up in her arms and she said words I'll never forget. She said, "You know, I really needed a pincushion, and I think this one is beautiful. Would you consider giving it to me?" And you know, in that moment, she lifted my heart, but she also gave me a much greater gift. She reminded me that while my mother wasn't very sentimental and didn't hold on to little things, she loved me deeply in her own way. You see, after my dad died, she became a single mom with no money, working in a factory. Every morning at 5 a.m., she left to keep food on our table and clothes on my back. And she didn't always show love in the ways I hoped for, but she showed it in the ways she knew how. And you know, if I had held on to bitterness from that one painful moment, I would have missed the many ways my mother loved me over the years. No, she wasn't perfect, but neither am I. She loved me. She taught me hard work. She taught me resilience. She taught me truth. And I am so grateful for that. And you know, when my grandmother passed away in her 90s, I was allowed to choose a few treasures from her home. And one thing I took was this small carnival glass bowl that always sat on her dresser. It had been a prize that my dad won at the fair before he passed away, and he had gifted it to my grandmother. And inside that bowl was the pincushion I'd made when I was 8 years old. It was filled with pins of all kinds of colors and shapes and sizes, and it was a reminder that she valued what I thought was discarded. You know, my grandmother also taught me that no matter the size or the shape or the color, just as every pin mattered to her in that pincushion, every person deserves to be treasured, even when they don't love you the way you want to be loved, right? You know, that day, she taught me an even greater lesson that I carry with me still. And that's, don't let one moment of pain blind you to a lifetime of love. Sometimes love doesn't look like what we expect. Sometimes it's a little painful, but it's in there, in sacrifice, in presence, in faithfulness. And often it's the people who notice our hearts, like my grandmother, who remind us of our worth when we forget it ourselves. And then we can love others, even when they hurt us, because you know, we all hurt each other at times. So love big. If this story has encouraged you, Please like and subscribe and consider sharing it with someone who may be struggling to find hope, or who's wrestling with bitterness, or simply needing a word of encouragement today. You know, bitterness can eat you alive. So remember to look for your pincushion and see how it can change your world today. Together, we can find joy today as we make tomorrow beautiful.